Hi, my name is Przemek, and this is...
Chris?
Yeah, thanks, Chris. I'm a business development manager, sales director at Inetum, and Chris, you are?
I work around people, process, and politics in IoT.
In that. Okay, and in case you're wondering who Inetum is, we're an IT consulting and services company, working over 12 years now with Cumulocity and IoT projects. So if you're interested in any details, we can skip that afterwards.
All right, so everybody's been talking about AI the last 3 days, and we're going to continue with that, if that's okay. We're just going to talk about AI, only AI, the whole session about AI. Let's see, everybody's excited, because we actually did ask ChatGPT. We recorded all the previous sessions, and we were looking like, what triggers people to stay awake after 3 days? And it says, yeah, just talk about AI. ChatGPT, thank you for that. So we really cannot do anything, so we asked a follow-up question. You need to practice the prompting. Something else we can do? And then it said, show some pictures of funny cats. That's the level that we're going to discuss AI about.
That's the level of jokes you can expect here.
Yeah,
right?
well, the thing with IoT is you have to have some sense of humor, not a good one, but at least you have to try.
Especially at the last day of the conference.
At the last day of the conference, exactly. So, no AI today, by the way. No.
Well, maybe some.
All right, go.
Yeah, so if you're wondering why the subject of this presentation, so we've been having those conversations over and over again. We want to go into IoT, we want to figure it out. How do we start? How do we work it out? With you guys, probably. And you have to understand that IoT will not go away. It's not something that you're going to get rid of. And you're going to get tempted, and obviously for obvious reasons, that you want to use the data that you collect to drive your business forward. And in order to do that, you need to have some rules and regulations, right, Chris?
Yeah, well, we discussed about this, the word will become part of your organizational framework, because we say that it will, it should become, it not might become, it will become part of your organizational framework, which means that there are some rules that you need to abide to. It's nice to have no rules. That's fun when you're young. When IoT was young, you could do that, but at this moment we need to evolve to a more mature environment. Cumulocity is an excellent tool to do that, but you still need to have the processes also in place. They need to mature. Companies need to mature towards an industrial IoT environment, and we're gonna try to explain.
Don't spoil the fun. Maybe guys, maybe some of you think that there should be less regulation in the IT, less rules. Who's up for it? Show of hands. Oh, yeah, there's a heckler in the crowd.
Security? That one has to go. We know him, by the way. You can stay. So, before we go further, Cumulocity is really a good tool. I've been evaluating a lot of platforms, industrial platforms. Consistently, Cumulocity comes out on top. We're going to also try to make the link on why that is and why it's important in my profession. But it comes up on top, and we are going to say, okay, let's look at it from people that are not doing the portfolio management that we are doing. What keeps them up at night, and why? What are they forgetting? And we'll list a number of topics there, and then make the link to Cumulocity, or try to make something that makes sense today. No? ChatGPT was wrong, I guess. Good.
All right, so if you consider the beauty of IoT, you have to have a list of aspects to consider, sorry. As Chris already mentioned, so you have your legal, you have security issues, then you have development on the other end. We're going to go through those at a later stage. But just to give you how does your IoT environment look like, ecosystem, Chris?
Yeah, this is how I look at IoT. It's like, I don't know if you can see it, sorry, standing in front. But this is the detective's board, because everything is linked with everything. And we need to understand each of the threads. Why is it there? What is it made of? What is the link between legal and security? What is the link between security and stock management? What is the link between stock management and logistics? Everything in IoT is connected. AI is just a little part of that that also becomes part of this board. It is connected again with everything, so it gets really complex. It's not rocket science what we do, but it's just a lot of things that you need to combine to build something good. And when people say, oh, it's a sensor and a platform, yeah, then we need to disappoint them a little bit. But that's what we're looking at. If you don't do it, then you get this kind of an image, and it's a very high quality.
And this is your modern IoT manager.
Yeah, so it's everybody does just what they want to do, and we try to bring structure in that environment. So how do we do that?
So you already mentioned a list of aspects that you have to take into consideration. First of all, legal, that's quite obvious. You have your GDPRs, you have NIS2 coming, you have all the agencies that you're working with and you're dependent on. You have to be compliant. You have your intra-company regulations and compliance rules. And this is also connected to security, obviously. You have to get your infrastructure in order, but you also have a lot of devices that are usually left unattended in some remote locations. You have to make sure that you're secure on that end as well. You have to ensure that your whole logistic chain, from acquisition through delivery, storage of those units, this is something that you want to plan up for the future, and the whole life cycle management of those devices that connects with it.
Yeah. So we'll do the first one, and then I'll reply.
That's
Cumulocity, and then you do the second. I'm joking. Good. I'll pick a few out here. If we look at logistics, for example, how can you integrate that better in Cumulocity? Well, we are actually doing that now. We're using new tags, tags that have NFC, that have RFID inside, that have a QR code, and they will be placed on every IoT device. So that's the process we're putting in place for a customer. They will be put on every IoT device, a CO2 sensor, a tracker, connected machine, everybody will have those. And those will then be linked to Cumulocity. Cumulocity will then also have the manuals automatically linked to that, which means that you tap your phone or you scan the room with a mobile or a fixed scanner, and you see exactly what is in stock. You see exactly what needs to be sent. You see exactly the processes for installation behind it. All of these things, they can easily be integrated in Cumulocity, but you need to start doing it, and you need to start doing it as quickly as possible to avoid that there are too many exceptions. We need to standardize, and that's one of the main messages we want to bring today. On legal aspect, from out of a portfolio management aspect, IoT is something which sometimes gets subsidies on sustainability. Is that automatically checked? Do we automatically check the new regulations with NIS2? Who is doing that? If we're going to implement a device, we're going to put a tracker on a car, do we put it in the contracts? All of these checks, they are normally centralized in one person or in one department, which is not necessarily under IT, it's not necessarily under innovation, it's something separate. And the reason why we want to have it separate is because it is not IT. IoT is not IT. It's 20% technical things, and it's 80% non-technical things. We need to collaborate between that. So that's where we're working towards the future. If you look at lifecycle management, clearly, if you know a bit of Cumulocity, you can put almost everything in there. If you look at the security, the patching of the devices, following up where they are, all of this can be easily put in Cumulocity.
Right. You ready to do this one by one then?
Yeah, that's fine. If there are any questions here, because we really rushed through it, each of these topics is a presentation of an hour, so we might skip a few important details.
Unless you guys want to prolong it at some point. Just give
Yeah,
it a
we're here
shout out.
until tomorrow, 6 o'clock.
All right. How do you tackle it with AI?
Yeah, ChatGPT, of course. You had to be there because otherwise you would fall asleep. ChatGPT can help with those things. Maybe not today, but in the future, yeah, it can help with security. It can find anomalies. It can find things that are not supposed to be there, and it can help on a lot of things. But we're going to forget ChatGPT for now, or AI.
That's fair enough. Now, for the other parts, obviously you don't want to harvest data for the sake of data itself. You want to get it to use, so you want to make sure that you have all the analytics tools in place, but you want to have your data standardized and interoperable. You have to make sure that you're comparing apples to apples, basically, right, Chris?
Yeah, the analytics things, it goes again a bit wider because we need to look at the big picture. When I talk about analytics, I also talk about data contextualization. The guy that has the nice columns and the nice graphs and everything, he needs to know where the data comes from. He needs to know how reliable it is, how accurate it is, how frequent it is, and if he can change any of these parameters across the time frame. Why is that important? Because we can, well, not why is that important, but we can use attributes in Cumulocity to put fixed new attributes in there so that they know where it comes from. On the other side, the guy that installs the sensors, he also needs to know where the data is used because he says, oh, I'm not going to pay for this solution anymore, but it might be used in some kind of a business process. So all of these chains, we put additional metadata on there to be sure that we have this visibility of where does the data originate from, where does it go through, which security breaches might be there, and then where does it end up in which application. So we need this contextualization more and more. We're looking at a digital core of data where all of the IoT sensor data comes together and then is used in different applications. So we need to know where it comes from and where it's going.
Now, advanced analytics would not probably be impossible without cloud computing, but then using cloud for your IoT, of course, impacts your IT organization as well. So you can't just dump that management on top of your IT. You need to have some rules in place as well, and you have to have the enterprise architect planned correctly.
Yeah, and it's a different topic. We know that Cumulocity can be deployed on the edge or in a private data center or wherever, or in the cloud or in a SaaS model, so that's fine. But as a portfolio management, and again, looking at this position that is managing everything, he needs to be aware about everything what's happening in the cloud, what the costs impacts are, because otherwise he cannot draw that extra red line. He needs to know, again, how can we optimize the data? Which data do we put in cold storage? Which do we keep in an operational data store? All of these things, he needs to know about it, because when he's designing a solution, when he's designing his rules, he needs to know about this. And that's why we're saying this needs to be a separate unit within companies, and we think there will be one. Like there was no IT department in the 60s because there was no IT. There still is no IoT department, but there will be, because we'll have like 50, 100 different solutions deployed everywhere.
I think like digital organization is a good example, because you didn't have chief digital officers back in the days.
Yeah.
And now it's in there, and we think that this is going to happen with IoT organization as well. And this is something that we already started talking about, change management. So you have to set up new roles, new responsibilities, processes. You have to empower people, and you have to make sure that someone on the top is responsible for driving this thing forward. Of course, you have to give them budget as well.
Yeah, it's the elephant in the room. You want to change your processes with IoT? Well, you're going to change people as well. You cannot go without it. And ignoring it, I have done so many projects where some guy says, yeah, but I don't want to do that. Then who is going to do it? Nobody? Well, then we cannot move on. We need to first check that box, and we need to put the right people in place. Maybe create a new department that changes batteries, I don't know. Or work with the cleaning crew that get instructions to change the battery. Those things are possible. But they need to be set up, they need to be cleared out. And it is one of the foundations, like how are we looking at this towards the future? It's one of the foundations of IoT or of successful IoT. So we need to put the foundations in place before we can start deploying large-scale IoT.
Now, development, this is something that we often have conversations about. How is Cumulocity cut out to be a perfect platform for me? And the straightforward answer is it's not, because it's not a vertical platform, so it doesn't connect to any specific business, but it is easily flexible and it can be customized to strictly meet your business requirements, because every business is different and every process is, even within the vertical, they differ. So you can add additional applications, widgets, tools, support tools as well to be specific to your needs.
Yeah, IoT is often a compromise. You cannot have the best of everything because it becomes too expensive, or it becomes unmanageable. So you'll have to make compromises on your data, on everything. You have to do the same thing on a platform. What we believe in strongly, and every customer I talk to, once you make them see it, is that we need something that is manageable, controllable. We might have a few less features on there, or maybe less thing, but we need something central, because otherwise we'll have like 50 different platforms in a year, which becomes unmanageable, unsecurable, and just not legal anymore, because we need to adhere to the legal compliance which is coming up. Oh, ChatGPT. Of course they can help with that. We wouldn't talk about ChatGPT. Anybody questions there? Just wipe it off the board, please. ChatGPT go? It's what it always does. It's. I heard the word Skynet some years ago. It's coming.
Yeah.
We're not finished with this, because we gave you a list of about 8 to 10 topics. We have another list for you already here. Yeah. So we have data storage, asset management, new business models, digital twin, streaming analytics, innovation with new technology, procurement, IoT portfolio management. This is actually the combination of everything. Which means we just want to highlight here the complexity of IoT, and the reason why you need to put somebody specific, dedicated on that one. If you don't do it, nobody's gonna do that. An IT guy doesn't make business plans. He doesn't care. IT guys here? Okay, bad example.
Great.
But the procurement, they're never going to check if your coffee machine is not listening into the conversations you're having during coffee break, because there's a chip inside and a microphone, and it picks up who is drinking coffee, how much coffee, sends that data to the insurance company, and your insurance policies go up because you drink too much coffee. So just saying, a procurement isn't doing those checks because they're not used to it. They don't know what is part of that. Oh, we're going to order 10,000 devices. Yeah, we're going to order 10,000, but we're going to order them in batches because we cannot install 10,000. So you need some checks, some rules and guidances and checklists for all of these domains, because otherwise somebody will not sleep at night. And there is no rocket science here. If I say you have to order in batches, everybody say, oh yeah, that's logical. IoT is built out, is built on top of all of these, hey, yeah, that's logical things. We just need to bring them together on our detectives board. New business models as well. Today we tried out audience as a service. Half of you is paid to be here. Yeah, the other ones are looking around like I'm not paid them. How do I get in the program? The nice thing there, and I want to highlight it, is that we can start very quickly with experiments. We don't have to go into POC phase and MVP phase. We can deploy a device in minutes. We can put it there, we can make a dashboard in 5 minutes more. And we can start interacting with people and see where do we need to go. And this agility, it just cuts all of the red tape. We just need to not think in official POV. We can accelerate a few things. In the first phase of the business models, the new business models, we have no rules. Congratulations, you won one. All of the rest is rule-based. Experiments, we want to find out things, how it works and how it interacts with our company.
And we could keep on adding to that list, of course with your favorite buzzword. But if you're thinking that this is pretty obvious, it's because you're on the right side of thinking about IoT, I think, that you know that building a bottom-up approach is not something that you want to be tackling these days.
Yeah, it's not a bottom-up approach. It's not a top-down. It's somewhere where you start in the middle and then you go up and down. It's sometimes a mess, and it depends on use case per use case. Sometimes you have a directive, hey, we want to do something with sustainability because we have to. It's not a buzzword that everybody likes. Who has been to sustainability seminars last year? Everybody. Yeah. Who has been to IoT, AI seminars? This. Yeah, I know it's a buzzword. It will cool down. Yeah.
Okay, so we're not going to go through that, and you obviously tackled new business models, and this is something that obviously every business is thinking about. It's tempting to think that your data you collect can move your business forward and give you foundation to become more of a service-based business rather than a manufacturer or a reseller of things. Digital twin, as a fully digitalized business, you have more control over what's going on, and you can simulate, optimize, as Chris already mentioned.
Yeah. I'll just very quickly go over those. Data storage, you have IoT Hub, clearly. Asset management, you have Digital Twin Manager now in Cumulocity. No business model, you have everything which is citizen development. I'm not a coder. I can make beautiful websites for customers to convince them to go to Cumulocity. Digital twins, I don't know what that word means. I lost it along the way. Is it a product twin? Is it a visual twin? Is it a process twin? That's ARIS, I think. Is it something where we put AI on to test simulations? I don't know anymore, but it's part of it. AI, of course, it will become part of it on several levels. Still don't exactly know how we're going to integrate it. For me, it's not that mature yet. Then the innovation with new technologies. What is this with these new technologies? We have LoRaWAN, which is known, LoRa. Now we have lightweight M2M. There are satellite connections that are coming. What does it bring for us, and how interesting can it be? Procurement, you need to get under control with your checklists, and then your portfolio management, you just need to start setting it up.
Now, I think we also had some conversations around AI, to be fair, that shows that AI is not going to be like a silver bullet that's going to, totally change the industry in a minute. But those small tweaks and improvements, they can help out. But it's going to be a bit of a longer time than we all expect. It's not going to be Skynet.
It's going to be Skynet.
No, it's not.
Yeah. All right. So how to start? I think that's an important one. If we start with portfolio management and trying to structure this, we need to get some like Semik says, ducks in a row. And there are some very logical conclusions. If you can go to the next slide.
You're stealing my thunder there.
I'm stealing your thunder? Okay, but please.
Yeah, because So we know it's a lot of things, and obviously you have to start somewhere. So what we would recommend is starting with a checklist that tackles those most important things like security, scalability. Is your data interoperable? How are you going to use it? Are you compliant with all the regulations that are out there? And there are some, right? And does it include continuity, building your business forward, looking into the future?
Yeah, it's actually more than a checklist. It's like something that everybody agrees on. Because later you will have to fight politics, you will have to fight change management. Let's agree on some basic things in IoT. Put them straight and just say, hey, yeah, it has to be end-to-end secure, clearly, of course. We need to have master data management. We need to have the GDPR rules and elements set up. We can all agree on a lot of topics, and then later somebody says, yeah, but shouldn't we do it like that? And then you say, no, we have our checklist. This is what we all agreed upon. Because otherwise, you have too many discussions, and it goes from left till right, so you need to start somewhere. And we call it sometimes a checklist, sometimes it's a compass. Where do you want to go with your organization? Do you want to put some more stress on sustainability or whatever? You put your guiding lines there, you make sure that everybody agrees on them, and you make them so vague that everybody agrees on them. But then you have something to start from and something to refer to. because otherwise you will not make any decisions. It will take you 3-4 years to get the project up and running, and often longer.
Or you can just... Sorry about that.
Yeah, it's there again. I will tell you why I don't like ChatGPT just now. What's wrong with this picture? Great. There's something really weird going on with the fingers here. It's not a thinking thing. It just analyzes and it says, okay, I see people holding fish. I see 500 pictures with people holding fish like that, so yeah, he has like more fingers than he should have. It doesn't know that it's fingers. It doesn't even know that it's not part of the fish. It doesn't know that it has 2 mouths. And if you go one further, you see, here you have the fish finger, is that what it's called? They all have them generated by AI, so they don't think yet. They don't think like us, and I call them they, like personalizing them. But they don't think like us yet. I cannot rely on the data being correct. If I do some things, I have to write an article or something, I will use it for a baseline, and then I have to double check if everything is in there. Use it as you can, and have some recommendations there. It'll grow, it'll get better and better. But for the moment, I don't want a fish with 15 fingers. It's not my thing. So that's why ChatGPT out of the door, again.
And we're coming to my favorite part. If you know Chris, then you must have heard it 1,000 times. I have, I know. And if there's one outtake from that presentation that we want to leave you with, it's probably going to be this one, outside of AI, of course, but...
Yeah, the 50-50-50 rule, and this is
Keep on clicking yourself then.
Thank you. This is the best argument for a horizontal platform, and there is not one customer that can argue against it. And it's just a statement. If you have 50 different IoT solutions, you have 50 different dashboards, 50 different SLAs, 50 times integration, 50 times different maintenance, different training, security, different processes that need to be set up. It's unmanageable. It's not data interoperable. It's not where we want to go as a company. And I speak for all CEOs all over the world. We don't need this. This is what we don't want. Maybe you want to have a tiered approach where you have like highly secure IoT, and then maybe an experimental platform. But Cumulocity is part of that. It's a horizontal platform. I'll say you make compromises, but nobody can argue with this one. You don't want this. Nobody wants this. And it's a very clear picture, and that's why I keep on repeating it.
It's a good selling point for Cumulocity as well.
It is the best one. It's like, okay, you're going to buy another CO2 platform for COVID monitoring. Don't put that somewhere else. These devices, they can connect to one platform. Why buy something else if you have the tools in-house? And if you don't have them, just buy them. Look at Gartner. Who are they recommending? Or Forrester Wave. Okay, this is my second favorite slide. This is how it would look like without Cumulocity, and this is how it would look like with Cumulocity. Beautiful, huh? Okay. Just need to look that we still have like 1 minute for one question. Where do we start? We do our checklist. We make sure that all ducks are in a row. We want to work on sustainability. We don't want this 50-50-50 rule. We want to have legal checks. No, we want to have GDPR under control. Just check that off with everybody involved, all of the stakeholders. They will say yes to these things, because if they say no, they're out of the company. Oh, I want some more security risks. They're clear. You analyze what you have done. Every company already, when I start talking to them, oh, we don't have any IoT. And then we start, yeah, but you have fleet management, right? Building management, right? Oh, you track this. Oh, you have a connected coffee machine. Oh, your CNC machine is connected outside. They all already have like 20 different solutions, and some of them are not secured, and some of them are not following the policies of vendor lock that you want to set up. So you want to see how did we get there? How did we buy it? What went well in that process? What went wrong? What do we need to fix, and what can we tolerate for now? We don't have to change everything from day one, but you want to migrate to one platform, one Cumulocity, to get everything again under control, from security to AI. And then once you have your insights, this is a short track, by the way. This is quite short track. Then you start building your guidelines. You start building your rules. If a project comes in and there is connectivity in there, it always goes to this guy. And he's going to check it. And he's going to check it with legal, he's going to check it with HR, he's going to check it in parallel with all of the different stakeholders inside and outside of the company. And then you set up frameworks. That's what the portfolio management does. You can do innovation. Good, you do innovation within this framework. These are the gates, these are the people that need to be contacted. Here you have to have a sign-up. Sounds boring, it is, but we need to do it because otherwise we'll never get control. We need to get some structure in this wonderful chaos that IoT is. I don't know if there are more slides.
No.
That's all, folks.
Luckily, because you can see Tal just, there. Thank you, guys. And
we have one question. Oh.
We have time for questions. We have a 10-minute buffer between each presentation, so you're still on.
Okay.
Maybe not.
You left them speechless, huh?
Or asleep.
Same difference.
So thank you for the talk. Could you give us some more details on how you help customers starting on achieving data interoperability? Are there any tricks you can share?
It depends. Do they already have Cumulocity or not?
Well, assume they don't.
Okay, then we advise Cumulocity first. That's given. You have to. No. It's always happy for an applause. The thing is, you need to make some agreements first on the data models that you want to apply. The nice thing with Cumulocity is it has a fixed data model. So whatever you put in it, the outcome will always be the same, and you don't have to put it to a data lake. You can immediately put it in a data warehouse. You can immediately start using that data for doing your analytics and creating your value. You want to add on this data interoperability some tags, some metadata. You can put them in attributes and force them on all of your solutions. Why? Because then you can track. You can do the tracking from A till Z, and then you can really see where the data comes from. Like in a graph, but without a graph database. You can have the model going, see the data flowing through your systems. If you don't have Cumulocity, you need to agree on your data model. You need to set up separately for each solution. You have to try and standardize that. You will try to grow to a unified namespace where you have fixed naming for everything. You still need to do that for Cumulocity as well, by the way. Temperature and temp is not the same thing. So you still need to have some rules in place. But yeah, that's it. That's it. I can go on a bit longer, but I can't.
I think that's it. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tom.